Hey there, welcome back. Here we are, chapter 2 of Hollow Kingdom. We just last time we just got introduced to Shit Turd and started hearing his story. So here we go, chapter 2. Winnie the Poodle, in a residence in Bellevue, Washington, USA. Footnote, Winnie was raised to talk about herself in the third poodle. Winnie the Poodle sat on the ledge, allowing the outside tears that streamed down the window pane to saturate her tiny broken heart. She pressed her petite muzzle onto her front paws and let out a woeful sigh, thinking of what she had the very most of in this world: weight. She had lots and lots of weight. Wait when she woke up, then wait some more, finding snacks, then more wait, stay and wait, good girl. The skitter of claws on marble pricked up her ears. A side glance across the floor revealed what she suspected. Lunch had arrived. She would see to it later. For now, she followed it briefly with her sad, sad eyes and sniffed it with her sad, sad, perfect poodle nose. Loneliness itched her skin. Would they ever come back? The worst of it, the guilt. Guilt that wriggled in her heart like an army of white worms. She never had any of these worms for really, of course, but had seen them in the commercials with the uglier dogs in them. Lunch skittered into the next room. With 17 rooms, sometimes it was utterly exhausting to track down lunch. Winnie's guilt came from two things. The one thing was that she hadn't waited the whole time they'd been gone. Because she was Winnie, the mini poodle, she could escape. She had done it a few times to see if they were in the yard waiting for her, or by the big fountain, or by the stables, the big pool, the small pool, the bright yellow ball and net place, by the shiny cars. They weren't there. Only horses were there, some breathing, some inside out. The second guilty thing was that she had spent most of her life with a walker trying to escape the home. She had done a pretend go potty and barked at the sliding doors to be let out into the yard and then back into the house, and then out and in and out and in and out and in and out until she was told to lie down and stop being an insufferable Q-tip. She had even run away from the walker several times, sprinting down the never-ending path, confectionery pink tongue tasting the manure-laden flavor of freedom, velvety ears streaming behind her, kicking up gravel in the face of propriety. Poodle doodle doo, she had cried, wild and free and obscenely beautiful, like a moonbeam with teeth. Once she actually managed to escape her walker captors, and Butler put pictures up of her everywhere, followed by signs like this, lots of dollar signs, and many, many of these extra zeros. She was found within a half an hour. There was a third guilty thing, her adopted brother. She hadn't always treated him very nicely, but that was because he was a fat moron who was petrified of his own farts. Guilt nipped at her for this thought, though it was very truthful. Sparkpug had not been able to stand the quiet of the big home when the walker went away. He had gone wet cat crazy, barking at the walls, snorting up a storm, and nipping at Winnie the Poodle's exquisite corkscrew coat. It was perhaps Winnie the Poodle who had planted the suggestion of the cat escape, and against all odds, with a waist like a glad bag stuffed with cat litter, Sparkplug squeezed himself through the small flap, with bulging eyeballs and a fart you might expect from a Clydesdale. Amidst snorts, Sparkpug, bagpipe of the canine world, barreled down the pathway to oblivion, no doubt looking for a squeaky lobster Jean Claude, whom Winnie had buried in the yard. Winnie thought of the day that the walker left. It wasn't a day of picnic and being carried in purse and veuve cliquot. It was a day of screaming. The walker couldn't suck in air fast enough with sad red eyes and runny nose. She yelped into her phone. Winnie had tried to comfort her but was pushed aside. The walker opened the door. Winnie ran after her. No, Winnie, no girl. And Winnie barked and the walker wouldn't let her. Stay, Winnie, wait, good girl. And she made the door bang hard as she staggered into the big potty world, all alone without her good girl Winnie. And then Winnie did her wait. What had she done wrong? If only she could do it all again. If only the walker would come back through the door with a new Seahawks jersey for Winnie, and she wouldn't even struggle while it got put on or secretly pee under the bed anymore. Winnie had a lot of weight and a lot of guilt. She stared at the door with what she presumed were perfectly breed standard eyes that sparkled like the diamond collar around her neck. She was often told that she was very, very beautiful and perfect, and asked who the good girl was, which seemed pathetically rhetorical. Obviously, she was the good girl. How she missed those days. If she was honest with herself, she even missed Sparkplug's seizure inducing snores. She would wait here, stay, be good, continue to poop in strategic piles all over the home so that, upon her return, the walker could resume her compulsive collecting of it. Winnie held worry in her tiny pink lungs. She was long overdue for nail shortening, and the salon must be wondering where in the potty world she was by now. She missed the walker's toasty lap, her salty face, and the honeyed sounds she made from soft red lips that were just for Winnie. She missed being apart. The sadness had her by the neck now, like a chew toy, and she no longer had the energy to fight it off. Winnie the poodle laid down her head and said a quiet goodbye to the home and the potty world around her. She would not hunt down lunch again. She had waited long enough. She succumbed to a last tremble-making thought of Sparkpug tearing around the big potty world all on his own, with no Jean-Claude, no friend, and no flea protection. Man, poor Winnie. That's the end of chapter 2.